You haven't been able to say all season, where's that pitching performance been? Well, hadn't been really a lot in the SEC. Maybe the Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Kentucky series, maybe you could have said that. But tonight, when adversity struck and William Schmidt has back tightness and he has to go to Jay Johnson and saying that he's feeling off, with 20 minutes to go into the game, Grant Fontenot has to come in. And what very well could have been, which very well could have been the final game of your season. One bad thing about black hats, they get really dirty really quickly. But what could have been the end of your season turns into you fighting for 27 more outs for tomorrow versus Auburn. And the team that you split with technically throughout the season, where Oklahoma beat you twice and you beat them twice. So now you are in a situation where tomorrow night you go up yet again against an opponent who had a better season than you. And you have a chance through 9 innings and 27 outs to find a way to keep your season alive. Now, it would be very fun if this LSU baseball team, coming off of a win versus Oklahoma tonight or this morning, whichever one, we are live. It's 12:38 a.m. Central Standard Time. Regardless, are you able to continue your season? But tonight, this comes on the arms of the pitching staff. Having to go to Grant Fontenot 20 minutes before the game starts. William Schmidt has back tightness. You probably have chaos. And, all right, well, now our plans change. As Dave Neal, who I think is the best in the game when it comes to college baseball, says that he talks to Jay Johnson before the game and that the plan was to go to William Schmidt and then go to Case and Evans, depending on how the game went. Well, that completely blows up, and Grant Fontenot, who's been put in a lot of adverse situations all season, has to come in and start and does a very good job for you, even though in the third inning, he kind of got into a little bit of a trouble and gave up an earned run. But it would be Gavin Guidry, who, let's just call it what it is, who's had an up and down season all year. Either it's a really, really good performance by Gavin Guidry, or it's a performance that is very lackluster, filled with a lot of earned runs, filled with a lot of guys being on base. And tonight he has to come into the third inning and get LaChance, the 3-hole hitter for Oklahoma, and he absolutely delivers in striking him out looking and getting a fly ball by Gamble to be able to get out of the inning. By the way, almost had back-to-back Ks. If it wouldn't have been on a 3-2 count for the ABS system, which that's a whole different conversation for a different day. I know we all want to talk about it. Personally, and sidebar, I like it, and we will get into that tonight. But he comes in, and he has a walk. ABS overrules it. He gets a fly out on the very next pitch, and you're out of a jam. You are out of a jam. And so Gavin Guidry would finish off the third, and in the fourth, he did absolutely what he needed to do. He got a ground ball to Stephen Milm. That was an error. He got Harris to strike out, and he got Taki to strike out. But because you have a wild pitch and an error throwing down the first, a run is going to ultimately score. And then you have Branch, who would come up, the 9-hole hitter, and Gavin Guidry would get him to strike out as well. So you get to a situation where you get out of an inning in the third. You have a situation where Gavin Guidry is doing exactly what he needs to do, But because of a wild pitch and an error throwing down on the drop third strike, you get a run and Oklahoma leads. Well, that ain't got nothing to do on Gavin Guidry. He would get out of that inning as Kate Aaron Beatty would throw out a runner trying to steal, and Gavin Guidry was lights out. He would go 1, 2, 3 in the fifth. He would go 1, 2. He would go not 1, 2, 3. He would get a ground ball and a strikeout in the sixth. He would give up a ground ball single into the 5-6 hole. And okay. He would get 2 ground ball singles into the end, one into the infield. Ruckert is diving on it. He'd have a walk and he'd load the bases. So he gives you productive innings, but then Devin Sheeran comes into the sixth and bails him out and getting a fly ball to Chris Stanfield to get you out of the inning. But Devin Sheeran 100% put the stamp at the end here in innings 7, 8, and 9. He would get a bunt that would be a put out by John Pearson, a strikeout, a ground ball into the 5-6 hole, and another strikeout. He would go 1, 2, 3 in the eighth. You get Gamble, Brock, and Harris down in order, 2 strikeouts in that inning. And in the ninth, he would absolutely deliver and close the door shut. That was arguably tonight from Fontenot, from Guidry, and from Sheeran. You could make the argument that outside of another ironic Oklahoma performance by Kason Evans, from top to bottom, was your best pitching performance against a quality opponent. And you absolutely delivered when you needed to. You know, during the weekend, I talked about this in the last post game that we did. I felt like against Florida, when you got run ruled, there was a lot of quit. Well, tonight there wasn't. And you had 2 Louisiana guys, 2 homebred, homegrown guys who said, look, wearing the purple and gold means a lot to me. And Fontenot and Guidry 100% delivered. Devin Sheeran, and I'm going to talk about Sheeran in just a moment a little bit because of his antics. But Devin Sheeran came out and gave you every bit of emotion that he had. Guess we could talk about it now. I mean, you got the hot mic moments. Sit your dumb rear end down. Come on. F you. I mean, they were on it tonight. And it's exactly what you needed. And it's exactly what you're going to need if you have any chance at any form of a run. Now, as we talk about this tonight, it kind of sucks. You had to use 3 bullpen arms. That's not going to be easy to recover from. But there is no tomorrow for you. There is, as the great John McGinty once said on The Replacements, there is no tomorrow for you. So play like that this is your last time ever playing, because for some of you, it very well could be. And they delivered. I love the energy. I love the toughness. It took a lot of mental toughness tonight for LSU to beat Oklahoma, with Schmidt going out 20 minutes before the game, Fontenot coming in and delivering, Guidry coming in and delivering, and Sheeran and Guidry picking up the guys that they would follow. It was impressive. Guys, here is the truth. You gave up 6 hits, 1 earned run, and 12 strikeouts on the night. That's impressive. That is highly impressive. So can you continue to do that? You haven't beat a team, by the way, in the SEC this year that's above 500. You haven't done it. And tomorrow you got to crack at getting your first win against a team in the SEC that's above 500 in the SEC. So it would be very fun to go on a run. I don't want this season to be over. I never want a season to be over. But you did a lot of really good things. So to come out and start before we get really rolling here, an absolutely amazing performance by your pitching staff, allowing 6 hits, 1 earned run, and 12 strikeouts. from your bullpen. From your bullpen, who, let's just be real, has been up and down all season long. So, really good performance. Nevertheless, we're live. Everyone, do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook. So, I need you to take the YouTube link to Facebook. We are unable to go live there until June the 4th because of an unfortunate situation. Got hacked, whatever. Do us a favor and share there as well. We greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get to 20,000 subs before the college football season starts. Do us a favor, share this to all your friends, tell them to help your boy out, and subscribe down below as well. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you doing that for us as well. So we get into it. Yes, you can get involved in the show. I see some super chats here. Shaquan says, I got to give it to Guidry. He was dealing. I talked down on him a couple post games ago, but he looked good tonight. Sheeran looked like Chase Shores. Very dominant by both. And I know what a lot of you were saying when Gavin Guidry came in. I was thinking the same thing you were. Let's all be truthful here. Let's all be truthful. So it is what it is. Quick sidebar before we get into the game. You can bring in super chats, all that stuff. We'll read them. It is going to be an early morning for some. Some of you, I'm sure, will rewatch this. But tomorrow's going to be, or today, so we'll be posting stuff tomorrow. Today, tomorrow, however you want to clarify it. But today, the 20th, we're going to have a lot of content flying out on YouTube. Highly suggest a lot of big names from 24/7 CBS Sports are joining us this week. So do us a favor, subscribe down below. You're going to be wanting to tune in. Got a lot of recruiting coming in your way, college football expansion talk coming your way. So it's going to be really fun. So subscribe down below if you're on the YouTube channel. Also, thank you. Glad I remember this. Speaking of 24/7, very quickly, got to talk about our friends and our new partners over at 24/7 Sports. Guys, if you want an annual VIP membership to Go 24/7, Zach Nagy, Andre Champagne, doing a lot of stuff over there, a lot of recruiting news, especially with all the things we need to talk about Will Wade as well. But a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes in the world of recruiting from football and basketball. Go sign up there today. Use the promo code AYS60 at checkout to get 60% off of your annual VIP membership. So we kind of ran through, and I'll talk about some of this as we go through the game here. Do us a favor, hit the like and share. I'll go through some of this. I know we already went through the pitching kind of situations that happened, but we'll go through the game here as well as we normally do. So you start off a game by a walk by Mason Braun. He also would advance on a wild pitch, but Omar Cerner blasts one into center field on a line, absolutely smashed, and it is right to somebody. Derek Curiel would strike out swinging. Kate Aaron Beatty would walk, and Stephen Milm would get hit by a pitch, and you would have the bases loaded with 2 outs, which would bring up John Pearson. First pitch to John Pearson is a fastball. He's a little bit late on it, but it's a line drive into right field, and it's caught. Guys, you hit 2 balls really hard in the first inning. Sucks that they were able to get to him. You never like when you have the bases loaded early in the game that you are unable to score runs, especially when they're putting guys on. Guys that you did nothing. They had 2 walks and a hit by pitch, and you had the bases loaded, and you were searching for your first hit to get it. But 2 really hard hit baseballs, guys, if you got baseballs that are being hit 100 plus off the bat, that one was kind of more down the line for Pearson, just stayed up a little too much, and Omar Cerner's is right at somebody. It is unfortunate. That is the game of baseball, unfortunately. So I know we can sit there and talk about it, but look, man, I'm not going to harp on it. This team is flawed. This team has shown that they are flawed. So if this were a national championship team like last year when we did a lot of these post games, I would come in here and sit in here and say, hey, man, listen, I get it. You got to be able to produce with runners in scoring position. I just think in a season like this, I can't harp on it right now. You're going to have to take a lot of bad with the good and the good sparks that you get there. Is it something in the future next season. Hell, even if you try to make a run in the SEC tournament that you're going to have to do with runners on, absolutely. You got to get runners on, runners over, and runners in. If you're going to make any level of push, have no idea, quite frankly with you, I don't know if you can, but even with that being said, it's one thing you got to do. This team is flawed. And so because they are, I'm just not going to sit here and harp on situations. If you were 15, if you were 500, hell, even if you had 13 SEC wins going into this one, and tonight would have been a big game for you. Even then, I would have held my hands up and say, look, man, this has clearly been a problem for you this season. Now, we're down the stretch. It hasn't necessarily been a problem for you. You've been averaging 8 runs with all these true freshmen. It is what it is. So I'm not going to necessarily harp on it, come down on anybody. I mean, you hit 2 balls really hard. They are able to get to them, and it's a reason why you were now 10-21, but 9-21 in the conference, and you only won 9 SEC games. So it is what it is there. We've talked about Fontenot in the first inning that he had. He gets a fly out to Ruckert. He would give up a walk. A 6-3 put out by Stephen Milm. Johnson was on the move. You know, I tweeted this during the game. Guys, Oklahoma can run. You've seen them 4 times. You split the series with them. I say series, but you split the games with them. You're 2-2 against them. I mean, they're going to run. It's their MO. They're a very highly athletic team. It's what they've shown all year. Can't hit, 1 through 9. They're not great there, but they got a lot of athleticism. So even in that athleticism, you're unable to get a double play because the guy is in motion. And then to get out of the first inning, Derek Curiel makes a fantastic play, sliding to make the catch, or diving, I guess you should say, to get you out of the first inning. Really good play by Derek Curiel. Second inning, you do nothing. You put 2 balls in play. Stanfield hits a ground ball to third base. Ruckert hits a ground ball to second base. And Dardar would strike out looking, and you're out of the inning. So nothing producing there. So you have runners on. You're unable to produce. You go 1, 2, 3 in the second. You have nothing to show for it there as well. Bottom of the second, Fontenot would go 1, 2, 3, get 2 fly balls to Derek Curiel and a ground out to Stephen Milm. So both go back to back, 3 up, 3 down, and you're out of the second inning. The top of the third is where things got a little bit interesting for you and for them. Braun went at a ground ball single right back up the middle, but an 8-4 put out because Braun was trying to advance would get the first out of the inning. This is unfortunate because these are the things this year. And so there's a couple of things in play that I want to mention. Guys, freshmen will be freshmen. They will make silly mistakes. Now, I don't know if Mason Braun's decision in the third inning to try to stretch a ground ball single right back up the middle into a double was the smartest thing ever, but this is what you get with freshmen. He's trying to do a little too much. He gets caught for it. He gets put out. He thinks that Oklahoma's being lazy and getting the ball in. They're not, and you're clearly out. It is what it is. I hope. Thumbs up in the chat if y'all got me. Are we frozen here? Thumbs up in the chat if you got me. Because it's just us. I think we're still here, but just in case we're not, thumbs up in the chat if you got me. God bless it. All right, we got some thumbs ups in here. My computer froze. Okay. So, back to Mason Braun. Again, I don't know specifically what you want me to talk about here. I don't know necessarily what you want me to say. Is it a silly decision? Yep. Is it a dumb decision? Yep. Is he sent? No. I mean, on the replay, you can see Mason Braun kind of tip something over to Big Chief, and he kind of made the decision on his own. If this were an upperclassman, I probably would come unglued. I'm not going to come unglued because Mason Braun, look, there's a lot that he needs to know and a lot that he needs to learn, but that is a decision that you just cannot make. Like you cannot make that decision. So the problem in that decision, is very clear, is that because of what is going to happen later on in the inning, you could have taken the lead. And in taking the lead and him not being there, Derek Curiel would come up and have a line drive single down the left field line or in the left field. That's the part that bothers me, is that 2 runs this inning should have scored. 2 runs this inning 1,000% should have scored, and they didn't. So love the single. Love that you were able to get a really good swing and get a really good swing off. You were able to do that, but trying to stretch a single into a double is just a silly move. It's a silly, silly, silly move. And quite frankly, I hate it. So it is what it is. Omar Cerna would walk in the inning as well, and a line drive single because of an error is turned into a double into left center. Hold on. It is early in the morning. Line drive RBI single, and because of an error, Curiel would advance to second base. Omar Cerna is able to come around from first base and score again. That could have been 2 runs for you. That could have easily been 2 runs for you. That is the part where that decision by Braun is such a massive deal. And it being such a massive deal where you can have back runs. So that's where I'm aggravated. That is 1,000% why I'm aggravated. My computer keeps freezing up. Oh, boy. Of course, it would do it early in the morning. Oh, God. I mean, the only solution would be to restart everything, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So, big night by Curiel. Big night there for him. Big at bat for him, getting the line drive double into left field that got you a run. And just a big, I mean, it's a big play here. It's a massive play. I just wish that Braun would have been able to stay on base. That's what I wish. But unfortunately, he's unable to. Guys, I can't see necessarily what's going on with the screen. You're just going to have to deal with this at the current moment. I guess bad weather's affecting it. So it is what it is there. Kate Aaron Beatty would strike out looking an ABS challenge before, made a 1-1 count 0-2. So here's what I'm going to say about the ABS system. I know that I'm in the minority. I vastly know that I am in the minority here. But I am a fan of the ABS system. The reason I am a fan of the ABS system is mainly due to the fact of, even though a call went against you tonight in the ABS situation, Cade Arrambidi had a 1-1 count. And when he had a 1-1 count, it got overturned an 0-2 count, and he would strike out looking. The reason that I like it is not because it was just a massive disadvantage for LSU. It would wind up being a massive advantage for them later in the game when Cade Arrambidi would do it. And then the very next pitch is a strikeout for Sheeran. So you have two situations where a 1-1 count turns into 0-2. The very next pitch is a strikeout. This one going against Arrambidi, and later on in the game, he would do the same thing that happened to him, and he would be able to propel there as well by being able to do it for himself and for his team. I like the ABS system. Guys, this many calls does not get missed in Major League Baseball. And I think that we've seen that. Like, if you watch Major League Baseball enough, you know that, like, they're not challenging as much, but there's also not those big of misses. Now, there are times in our umpires and our situations where that happens, but right now, I like it. I know that I am vastly in the minority here. I get that. I completely understand that I am probably in the minority. I know a lot of people want the human element in the game. I understand wanting the human element in the game, but for me, it's look, a strike is a strike. And I know a lot of old heads don't like this, but personally, I do. Personally, I do. So I can't even monitor the situation here. All right. Well, it looks like it's good over on YouTube. Just might be my internet. So y'all can see it. So anyway, I like the ABS system. That was the first time that it had affected us in a negative way. But even in infecting us in a negative way, I still get to a place where I like it. So whether it's getting the right call, and in getting the right call, that's the only thing that necessarily matters here. If we are getting the right call, I'm really not going to be aggravated. Now, do I think some things can be a little outlandish? Yes, I do think some of these things can be a little outlandish. But I think the ABS system showed today that, number one, SEC umpires are missing a lot. And number two, that you had college catchers out dueling SEC umpires and making them look very bad, making them look very, very, very bad. So it is what it is. I'll take it. So LSU gets a run. Top of the third, you had a fly ball into fly ball single. It was really hard, weak, hard fly out, or fly ball, I should say. In the left field, Taki would strike out. An infield single on a diving second baseman by Ruckert. Really great play by him. He tries to get over to Stephen Milm. He's unable to get an out at second base for a fielder's choice. Johnson would hit a line drive single into center field, and they would play a run. So, look, a couple of one ball against Svano, not hit that hard. One on a diving stop by Ruckert. The line drive single then in the center field, just going through a lineup through the second time here. They started seeing Fano. It's a tough situation to be in. He knew 20 minutes before the game that he was going in. So, I mean, to go through the lineup one time is impressive. To go through it a second time would be even difficult with a 20-hour notice, much less going through it in a 20-minute notice when an injury occurs. So I am not going to come down on Fontenot. He did his job. Gavin Guidry was able to get you out of the inning. He got a strikeout on the chance. He gave up a walk, a 3-2 ABS challenge overturned and not in your favor. Gets Willits a walk, but Gamble would fly out in the very next pitch to right field, and you're out of there. Yeah, I can't see anything. This damn internet at 1 a.m. in the morning. We're just going to have to kick it old school, I guess. We're going to have to find a way to kick it old school. As long as y'all can see me, we're fine. We're fine. But y'all going to need to let me know in the chat if we're good. Top of the fourth, Pearson would start the inning off with a walk. Dardar would strike out swinging, but a ground ball single. Excuse me, we got to back up. A ground ball single into the 4-6 hole, so we got to back up. So Pearson draws the walk. And in the at-bat with Seth Dardar, a ball is in the dirt, and Pearson tries to advance and does successfully advance to second base. However, the ball was overthrown, and the shortstop was able to get into reach of it, and Pearson tries to get to third base and is thrown back out at second, and just another really bad base running error. You had two errors on the night in the field, one by Stephen Milm and another by Katie Arambidi. You technically had four errors, and I still think, here's a minority opinion that I have. I still believe that base running errors still should be considered errors. People don't like that. It is what it is, but you had two. Mason Braun and Pearson had two massive errors early in the game. Now, they didn't come back to completely haunt you, but that's neither here nor there. All right. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate that Stanley does get a ground ball single into the 6 hole. Maybe Pearson could have scored. Maybe. I think that'd be generous, but it would have been close. Been very, very, very close. Ruckert flies out to left field, a sliding catch by the left fielder, and you're out of the 4th inning. Could have gotten a run there. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Bottom of the 4th was the inning that things unraveled a little, and Oklahoma would take the lead. We walked through this. 3 strikeouts in a row by Gavin Guidry, and to start off the inning, you had an error by Stephen Milum. If you have any chance of making a run, which I still don't believe that you can, at least not yet, you can't have mental mistakes. The back-to-back errors by Pearson, and I'm going to call it an error. Back-to-back issues with Pearson and Milum, guys, it gave them the lead. It gave them the lead there. You can't have those blunders, especially Pearson's. But there's nothing really else that Guidry can do. He gets 3 strikeouts. 1 was on a wild pitch, and a missed throw by Kate Arambidi. You're trying to find ways to compile that you don't want. You're inventing new ways. You are 100% inventing new ways on how to lose games. It is just simple stuff. Absolutely simple stuff. Okay, I think we're back. Thank you, sweet Jesus. Well, I guess we're not. I can't. There we go. I can't see myself talking to you. Like everything's frozen on my end. So I'm having to monitor and make sure and all that stupid shit. in reference to the fourth inning, I mean, guys, that's what's gotten you beat all year. Like, if you want to take a microcosm of why LSU went 9-21 in the SEC, look no further than the fourth inning. Because you get a walk, you have a base running error by John Pearson, you have a base hit by Stanfield that could have gotten in Pearson, maybe not. You should have been up 2 runs potentially with hits by Curiel and Stanfield that could have plated runs to where what happened in the fourth inning wouldn't have necessarily affected you of you not having the lead, and yet just compiling errors over and over and over again. And that is the problem. That has been your problem. The microcosm, if there's an inning to show what has been a problem, it's been that. And so you had 3 real errors, and you were able to overcome it, and that is a testament to how good Gavin Guidry was in the fourth inning. Like, that is as clutch of a performance in the fourth inning to have things not only on the field, but when you get a runner on that, look, adversity in a game is going to strike. Every single game in the SEC that you're going to play, something it's going to strike upon you. And it's how you react to putting out fires in between games and in between innings that propels you to being, 21-9 or 9-21. Because a lot of these games that you played, let's just be real, during the season, some of them you got blown out in. Some of them, like the Sunday game and the Saturday game from Georgia and Florida, fine. But some of those games, you're losing 11-8. Some of those games, you're losing 15-12. And you're just like, man, it's not that you haven't been doing things. It's not like you haven't been having some good innings at the plate or in the mound. You just couldn't put it all together. Like a lot of those situations, like you're not as bad as LSU is not talent level wise. They're not 9-21 in the league, but your pitching staff is, and that has been the problem. But Gavin Guidry got you out of that problem tonight. And in saying that, that is what you could have ultimately looked like if you were able to get out of those innings. Hey, man, we had some problems. We got out of it. The pitching staff got us out of it. The bullpen got us out of it. And we were able to do what we do. Your pitching staff this tournament there's going to be fires. There's going to be problems. There's going to be situations that you're going to have to pitch your way out of. Look at your national title run last year. So it is what it is. But after Gavin Guidry gets you out of that, and again, which makes his performance that much more clutch, it's what you did in the fifth that really started to propel you. You had a hit by pitch on Mason Braun. You had a ground ball single into the 6th hole by Omar Cerna, and then a line drive double in the left field that would play to run to tie it. Look, I said this past week, and I want to repeat it just in case people has missed it for whatever reason. Derek Curiel has not made this alarming, massive statistical leap. I thought a lot of times this year, Derek tried to do things that weren't Derek Curiel related. I felt like that he was trying to elevate and celebrate versus spraying the ball to the opposite field, which is a staple for him because it's the draft year and all of those different things. The Derek Curiel that you saw tonight is the reason he will go in the first round. It's not massive power. It's not Bear Jones level power. It's not Tommy Tanks or Dylan Cruz for that matter level power. But he's not that type of player. The type of player that Derek Curiel is the guy that you saw tonight. elite hand to bat skills, elite understanding of the zone. So why will Derek Curiel go top 15, top 17, whatever that number is going to be, is because of the performance that he put on tonight in front of a lot of scouts. The hand to ball skills is off the charts. And when he is taking the ball to left field, and he has the approach of driving the ball the other way, seeing the ball deep, driving the ball the other way is what makes him elite. It's what makes him elite. In today's game of elevate and celebrate, or celebrate and elevate, whichever way you want to go with that, him doing what he does is exactly why, number one, you should have already been in the lead, but number two, what makes him the best and why he is one of the better players to ever put on that uniform. I mean, guys, he's hitting 350 back-to-back years. A lot of me wishes that he would wait and, have another year here, because I do think next year, things would come for him. That's my opinion. You can't turn down the money. But a massive base hit by Derek Curiel to get you out of that funk. And Omar Cerna would get hurt on the very next two very next plays. Aaron Beatty would go down swinging, but Stephen Milm would hit a ball to the third baseman in a throwing error, and a play at the plate where Cerna gets his head stepped on. I wanted to go ahead and get there because it plays into Curiel. You had the play at the plate by Cerna. Derek Curiel waits till Cerna touches home plate for him to touch it so that you don't have the out of him passing him up by touching home plate. It's just everything that Derek Curiel does when he is on is seeing the ball deep, driving it the other way. If they want to pitch you in, by all means, pull that son of a gun and try to drive it 400 feet into right field for all I care. If they're going to throw you out and middle away, see the ball deep, drive it the other way, because then they'll start trying to throw you in, and that's when you square up on one and hit it 400 feet in the right field. Because teams aren't going to throw you out and away. The reason they've been doing it the last month and a half, the last 45 days, is because they know you're trying to elevate. Talked to a coach in the SEC, an assistant coach in the SEC 45 days ago. Yeah, we're going to pitch him. Well, and I talked to another one 14 days ago. Yeah, I'm going to throw everything. We're not throwing anything to Derek Curiel. We're going to try to keep him outside because we think he's going to try to pull it. And so tonight is the elite top 15 pick, Derek Curiel. Will it continue? Well, we'll wait and see. So Omar Cerna got spiked. Hand got spiked. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. That sucks. Omar Cerna is, for this team right now, is a massive pillar for you. Don't know what's going to happen. I'm assuming his hand's going to swell up. It's going to be about probably pain tolerance. Does he need stitches? Did he get stitches? I don't know. I haven't been able to see what Jay Johnson has stated. No idea for his status. That sucks. Glad Brayden Simpson was able to come in and get 2 hard hit balls and line drives and hits. God forbid if you need him, we need him to do it again. Next man up. Need him to do it again. So big situation there in the 5th inning. Bottom of the 5th, Gavin Guidry goes 1-2-3. Gets a fly out, a strikeout, and a ground out, and you're out of the inning as well. You had 2 quick outs. Ruckert and Braun would go out, a fly ball and a ground ball, but Simpson would have a line drive single into the 6 hole, and then Derek Curiel would have a line drive double down the left field line. Just elite stuff, man. Absolutely, positively, bona fidedly. Derek Curiel's a special athlete, man. He will continue to be a special athlete, and he's showing it He's showing it right now, guys. God knows how many scouts were in that in attendance tonight. God knows. Kenny, you're going to need him. You're going to need him if LSU makes any level of run, listen to me. If LSU is going to make any level of run here, you got an elite performance tonight by your bullpen. Let's call them your bullpen because Fontenot, Guidry, and Sheeran. You're going to need to find another way. Who are those arms going to be? Is it Case and Evans and Zach Cowan tomorrow versus Auburn? I have no idea. But you're going to also need a plate. Depending on what Cerna's status is, I have no clue at this point as we're doing the live show. But regardless of that, you're going to need Derek Curiel to do what he did again tonight. He's going to have to be the main pillar for you. And I hope and pray that he is that main pillar for you and that's able to propel you to beating Auburn. And guys, I don't want this season to end. As horrible as it's been, as much as everybody, like I would love nothing more for LSU to find the wildest of ways. By the way, I only think you need 4 wins. That's neither here nor there. You get 4 wins, you got to have an interesting conversation about LSU. Regardless of that, I would love for baseball to continue. I would really like for tonight or this season to continue. Why would I not want LSU to play more baseball? But if they're going to do that, you burned 3 arms out of your bullpen tonight. You're going to need elite performances by, I'm assuming, Evans tomorrow and probably Zach Cowan to some extent. You're going to need them to go off, and you're going to need Derek Curiel to be a massive pillar for you. Bar none. Bar none. So Derek Curiel does it in 3 straight innings to propel you to retaking the lead. You were unable to get a run in the 6th. Aaron Beatty would get the golden sombrero. He'd strike out 3 times. Would get a base hit to end it, though. Gavin Guidry, again, we talked about the 6th earlier in the show. He was able to get 2 outs, but you'd have to go to Devin Sheeran to get the 3rd. There's a pair of hits and a walk, gets the bases loaded, but Sheeran comes in and gets Branch to fly out to left field, to Chris Stanfield, and you're out of the inning. I don't know how to explain this next scenario in the top of the 7th. So Stephen Milm starts off the inning with a walk, and Pearson would fly out or line out really to the center fielder, but the next guy coming up would be Seth Dardar. And the situation that happened tonight that we're going to have to clear up from the ABS system was a strike him out, throw him out situation. On a 3-2 count, you had a walk by Seth Dardar, but it was challenged and overturned. But they're calling ball 4. Stephen Milum steals second base, and they also tag him out. So the late reaction on the challenge and the throwdown, Stephen Milum is awarded second base, and the strikeout is awarded on Seth Dardar. I don't mind getting the calls right. I thought the call was right based off the rule because you don't know what's going to happen to award Stephen Milum second base because the rule on the field is a ball. Now, in the replay, it looks like regardless, he gets in without it. And I think the replay benefits that. Yeah, keep him at second. He would have been safe regardless. I mean, he was safe. So I don't mind that. We're going to have to, and I know Major League Baseball is going through this, clean up some things in the ABS system. If he thinks it's a strike, okay, and I get that a runner is going, but the call should be precedent. It's one of the things with the ABS system that there's no real right scenario there. I like that we're getting calls right because everybody's living with the same strike zone. So because everybody's living with the same strike zone or strike zone fitted to them, I want the right calls. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I hope it's here to stay. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, Parts of me wants the calls to be right because of how bad the SEC umpires are, but Stephen Milum's in there anyway, and I think that they for once made the right call because it's only one game that they had to focus in on. Chris Stanfield would walk, and a catcher's interference would load the bases for Mason Braun, and Mason Braun would get to a 3-2 count, also did an ABS challenge and missed. And he'd swing at ball 4, and you're unable to get a run in. Brutal. As good as Mason Braun has been, he's had a lot of freshman mistakes, and I'm going to characterize him as that. Can't have those going into next season. Sheeran comes into the 7th. He gets a bunt put out for Pearson. It was a really good play by him. He gets Johnson to strike out, a ground ball single into the 6th hole, into the shift, and he gets Willits to strike out as well. You know, we never talk about the shift and the problems with the shift when you're winning and they don't go your way. But a ground ball into the 6th hole, into the shift, but doesn't matter. Sheeran gets Willits to strike out as well. Big inning to put the dagger in, by the way. LSU leads going into the 8th, 4-2. You had back-to-back strikeouts with Simpson and Derek Curiel. Kate Arambidi with a ground ball single right back up the middle, and Stephen Monster Milum in the 8th inning would have a 2-run bomb to put the dagger into Oklahoma last night. You know, I know that there was a post that we had that got a lot of LSU fans talking over last week. The conversation that I had is after the Friday night game, when you got run ruled by Florida, it felt like that to some extent that you had quit. And the only run in that game was a solo blast by Stephen Milum. And in that conversation, I had stated, I don't think Derek Curiel's given up. I don't even think like Gavin Guidry had given up or Stephen Milum, without a doubt, had not given up. But I felt like some of the swings last Friday seemed a little bit lackluster. And you got run ruled. But Stephen Milum hit a bomb. And he hit a bomb in the last 3 games, in every single game against Florida. And tonight he goes into a game versus Oklahoma and has another one. You know, Stephen Milum has been here through a 3-year run where he saw where you were staring into the abyss in 2024, and you had to have a turnaround, which he was a massive part of, and you did. The very next year, a lot of people doubted him going to shortstop defensively, and he proved everybody and every one of those guys wrong. And in the meantime, hit above 290 and hit double-digit home runs. And you knew going into the season that it's got to feel very weird to come off of a national title and to have the struggles this season that you've had. And over the last 4 games and all the talking points about Stephen Milum throughout the season, well, defensively he's doing good. Well, guys, a month ago he was hitting 245, and now he's hitting above 300. And in 4 straight games to what appeared to be the last time that maybe we see Stephen Milum in the box, which I think that it is, and what could have been his last game at LSU, he comes away with another home run and has a home run in 4 straight games. Because Stephen Milum's one of the best shortstops to ever play, and I do agree with some, and I don't know if I fully agree with Jay. It would definitely need to be a debate. If he's not the best shortstop, Alex Bregman or whomstever that you'd want, he's damn sure up there. Stephen Milum cares. It means something to him. It means something. His actions are showing it. And the error, yeah, that's very rare from him. Some of the defensive lapses that we've seen is extremely rare. Like, I still think he should have made the play on the Ruckert thing, but that's a tough play. But he puts the dagger in for you to win. It's the most Stephen Milum thing of all time. Most Stephen Milum thing of all time. You know, I think about last year when Stephen Milum hit the ground ball to Aloy and could have been a double play to win the game for them. Good things happen when you put the ball in play, and good things happen every time it seems like Stephen Milum comes up in a critical situation. And he hits a 2-run bomb in the 8th to pretty much seal it. Sheeran would go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th, and we got some We got some very vocal statements from Devin Sheeran. I love it. I saw the tweets from the local media, not really loving it. Oh, grow up. They're taking out frustrations. Just because it's the first time that you're covering baseball all season doesn't, like, you weren't with this team throwing in the pen. Just because it's your first time covering this team all year long, don't come in here now. Y'all tell me that about basketball. And we've had more basketball coverage now than we've had in the last 2 years. Devin Sheeran is an emotional psychopath, and I love it. I love everything about it. I love that he's doing what he's doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to need him again. Guys, your season's on the line. So I know some guys will be sore. I don't think that any of those guys go tomorrow. I don't think Fontenot, I don't think Guidry, or I don't think Shearing will go tomorrow. They might have to go on Thursday. Can Devin Sheeran give you an inning? I mean, it's win or go home. Everything's on the table. Every single little thing is on the table. So where I don't think they'll go tomorrow, you're going to need them for Thursday. God forbid you win the next two. I mean, you're really in a tough spot. Depending on what's going on with William Schmidt, you're in a tough spot. You don't have the pitching. I mean, you don't have the pitching from a talent standpoint, but you don't have the pitching. Santiago Garcia is going to have to be big for you. One of these guys that have been bad for you all season, whether it's Gavin, whether it's Williams or whether it's Rizzi, whether it's Newt, somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to step up. So we'll see. We will see. But if guys are ready to go, I go. You didn't do anything tonight. Simpson had a line drive single into the center field. Stanfield also had a walk. You had first and third, but Derek Curiel lined out to the center fielder. And Devin Sheeran comes in and ends it 1-2-3, and you got out. So Tigers do stay alive. The season is still alive, and I want this thing to continue to go. I want it to continue to go. As long as it will go, I want it to go. All right. It is 1:30 a.m. Let's get to a couple things here. Cajun Curveball has been a member on the YouTube channel for a month. Says no Schmidt and 3 guys shoved. Where was this? Fire emoji. I don't know. Cajun, I don't know. I mean, you have the ability. And here's the thing. You're going to need it again. You're going to run into trouble tomorrow versus Auburn and Cowan, Evans, somebody. I mean, I know Cowan threw on Sunday. Again, it's a dog-eat-dog world. I remember when Gage jumped through on a Friday, on a Thursday, and then pitched on a Tuesday. I'm old enough to remember. So you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, coming off maybe a day's short rest. I mean, Cowan's got to go if you need him, but it does put you in a bad spot. I don't know what's up with Schmidt, but I do think that Schmidt's got to get out of his own head. That's what I think. Chip Woodworth with a Chip Woodworth 5 with a $50 super chat, my man. Says you deserve some money staying up so late. Great job as always. Well, thank you, buddy. Yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll have a lot of content and videos throughout the day, but we'll be back here tomorrow. I'm not abandoning. Look, we hadn't done a lot of post games because they've been getting their teeth kicked in and run ruled, and I ain't wasting my time, and I'm not wasting yours. But season's on the line now. Season's on the line. All right, last one before we get out of here. Cajun Curveball says, how do you fix the issue with Milm steal tonight on ABS? Call ball 4 on a full count, overturned and nearly thrown out because he stopped running. I don't know. I think it's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue. I think they got it right. I mean, I would love to hear some other opinions, but Stephen Milam's in anyway. Like, if he was blatantly out, would you have called him out? Then you have a problem. See, I mean, if you would have called him out, then you definitely have a problem because then it's too late. Then the call's way too late. But if you're LaChance in that situation, well, I got to try to throw him out in case it's not overturned or in case it is overturned. Like, it's a tough situation for you to be in. The only scenario that I could see was that the pitcher would need a challenge. Or you give a grace period in that situation. But I do think they got it right. Johnny says, what is LSU's record? Well, they're 10-21 in the SEC. They're going to have to win this tournament. I mean, I guess you can make the argument if they got to 13 total SEC wins. But even then, it's a stretch. You got to win it. So you're going to have to beat Auburn. Let's look at the this standby before we get out of here. Let's look at this bracket right quick. Oh, your boy's sleepy up in here. All right, let's look at the bracket. So you got to beat Auburn tomorrow. And then if you beat Auburn tomorrow on Friday, so excuse me, not Thursday. Thursdays for the first two games. So Friday, so potentially you could get Sheeran, Fontenot, and Guidry back for Friday. That's a big plus if you were able to beat Auburn tomorrow. Just got to beat Auburn. Then you'd have A&M, and you mean I don't think we can beat A&M. Auburn, I don't think you can beat Auburn, but again, you're going to have some elite performances. I mean, the thing with Schmidt for me is that he didn't pitch all week. Like, he had a weekend off. That's the thing for me. Jay Johnson said that William Schmidt was walking funny before the game. He also said on SC Network after the game he doesn't anticipate that he'll be able to throw for the rest of the tournament. There you go. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, you're not going to have the arms. I mean, you're not going to have the arms. On Omar Cerna's hand, Jay Johnson says, if you don't like blood, you would not have liked to see it. No update from Jay on the status for tomorrow or the rest of the tournament. I mean, it's going to be swelling, pain, and can he grip a bat? That's going to be it, man. I mean, that's going to be it. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you all for the super chats and stuff. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Peace.